Victims warn it's like having a bomb in your pocket that can injure or even kill you.
We're talking about lighters sold here in the U.S. but made overseas by foreign companies.
But they're manufactured so cheaply that the 11 News I-team finds some of them may lead to tragedy. Investigative reporter Mark Greenblatt is here now with the story that just this evening led to a national safety investigation. Mark?
Greg, Lisa, more on that new investigation in a moment, but first, 75% of the lighters that we buy get made in foreign countries like China and come at a bargain price here. But some say they can have another cost, one you won't want to pay. It's a phone call Ricky Clemmer can't forget.
He said, "I'm hurt, I need to go to the hospital."
It was his older brother Bill, and when Ricky found him,
From the waist up, he was just black and burnt.
covered with third-degree burns and lying on the ground.
You didn't know how to touch him, you know. He had skin hanging off his hands, you know. You don't know, am I going to hurt him? You know, can I hurt him?
And in the middle of this nightmare was the cause.
He said his cigarette lighter blew up.
So what's going on? Well, for years, lighters have been made with little government oversight. In fact, most federal rules for making a safe one are just voluntary. But today, experts say foreign manufacturers are flooding U.S. markets with lighters that are so cheaply made, they're dangerous.
The United States is definitely a dumping ground.
Sean Kane is a nationally known expert on product safety, and he says the problem is overwhelming.
You're looking at nearly $30 million in damages a year.
But as you've seen, it isn't just property.
We don't want to see more people getting burned and injured from these products.
In fact, in this report, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission found that defective cigarette lighters cause nearly 1,000 injuries a year that need medical treatment.
I just told my husband we had to go.
Which brings us back to Bill Clemmer.
And we'd see tears coming out of his eyes.
At a hospital burn unit, as his sister Alita looked on.
And I didn't know what to do for him. I wanted to make it better, and we couldn't make it any better.
But her brother hung on. One day, then another, and then another, bringing hope.
He's going to pull through this. He's not going to leave us.
Until on the 28th day, Bill Clemmer passed away.
This is hard for you.
Very hard.
But what did happen? Well, forensic engineers hired by the Clemmers created this video claiming the lighter had a defective seal that, after it had been used, let the butane gas keep flowing, keeping a small flame lit, hidden by the lighter's wind guard, all of which went into their brother's pocket and catastrophe.
So when those things go off, they go off big.
And in Bill's case, what went off was this, an MK lighter made in China, which we found on the shelves in Houston.
But it smells good. Smells good. A lot of people buy these.
At this wholesale business, and here on sale to the public.
Can I get 4 lighters, please?
In fact, federal figures show 75% of all lighters sold in the U.S. are foreign-made. 58% of those are made in China, of which only an estimated 30% meet those voluntary minimum U.S. safety standards.
There's a big difference between voluntary and mandatory standards.
But Rachel Weintraub of the Consumer Federation of America says despite the U.S. government's own evidence, it refuses to make the change.
If they were made mandatory, they would serve to further protect the public health.
Like similar rules adopted in Canada and Europe. While in America, there's another problem. You see, the Clemmers sued the Chinese company that makes the MK lighter, but the foreign-based manufacturer never showed up for court. Right now, they have a default decision that brings them little peace.
This was a senseless death. It shouldn't have happened.
Now, the Clemmers also sued the American distributor of those MK lighters, who settled with them out of court. And we tried to reach both that company and the Chinese manufacturer, but so far have not received any word back. But late tonight, the Consumer Product Safety Commission announced that they will launch a national investigation into the different lighters that the MK's manufacturer sells in the U.S. a number the government says could be in the millions. Lisa Gregg.
So Mark, how can you tell if you might have a problem lighter?
Well, other than the MK brand, which we just told you about, safety experts are telling us that any lighter that has one of these adjustable levers where you can have the adjustable flame going up and down could be trouble. American manufacturers stopped making those largely years ago.
Something you wouldn't think about, but important information to have.
They say watch out.
Okay, Mark, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
A lot of